Welcome back to the classroom, guys, where it's you, me, and my trusty whiteboard here. It's a lecture series where we go through a ton of information with matters regarding the body, mind, heart, and spirit. I'm Dr. Roshan Ramnarayan, and class is in session. Today, we're going to talk about a really, really interesting topic for everyone here. And what we're going to talk about is, why do we put on, and I'll write it in red, one of the most dreaded words that we could think of. Not put in, put on. Weight. Almost like taboo. Why do we put on weight? And this is, let me make it clear, guys. There is a ton of biochemistry and daily habits that go on to help us to put on weight. So today's lecture will be as simple as I can break it down for you guys. And in the process of that, I may eliminate a couple of things here or there that, you know, someone may say, well, what about this hormone? And what about that hormone? And what about this type of exercise? I'm going to break it down as simply as possible to give you the most salient points possible that can make the biggest difference. So in doing that, I've broken up why we put on weight into 3 categories. Things that we can't change, things that we can't, I'll write it again, things that we can't change directly, and then most happily, things that we can change. So these 3 topics, or these 3 subsections, I think would give us a good idea about it. So things that we can't change, I've summed it up to one thing: our genetics. That's really it. We can't change our genetics no matter how hard we try. Obviously, some people may say, well, I can't change my diet, or I can't change my lifestyle. I have all these extenuating circumstances underneath me. But those things can change over time if we allow it to, or if we make the effort, or if enough time passes and the situation disappears. But one thing that's immutable from, and also someone may say, well, there's something called epigenetics. We may even talk about that. But for the most part, genetics, where we come from. So, for instance, if your mother and your father were a little bit overweight or obese, there's a good chance that you will be overweight and obese. A nice example of this is in those Scandinavian countries. So, for instance, in those Scandinavian countries, that's where the Vikings lived. And over time, those Vikings were warlike people. They were very tall, they were very muscular. And over time, because they were warlike, only the biggest and the baddest of those Vikings would have survived to make children. And so, for instance, for anyone who likes Game of Thrones, the mountain that's on Game of Thrones, he is from Scandinavia. And as a result of that, some of the world's strongest men come from Scandinavia because they are the result of genetics that were put to the test. It was a serious selection process going on there because of their nature and their way of life, that only the toughest could survive. So if your parents were of that origin, for instance, there's a good chance that you will be tall, muscular, very strong, that sort of thing. So our genetics is something that we can't really change too much. But all hope is not lost, because even if your parents were overweight, there are things that we can do. So I'll leave that here. Moving on now to things that we can't really change directly. If I had to sum it up in one word, I would say it's our hormones. That's what this really is. So, and there are a couple, and again, there are many more other hormones, but there are a couple of them. So there's insulin, there's cortisol, there's adrenaline. Yeah? Insulin, cortisol, adrenaline. Let's go with that for now. So, some people say that testosterone is the strongest anabolic hormone in the body. That to me is not right. The anabolic simply means building up, as compared to catabolic, which means to break down. And so the strongest anabolic hormone in the body, make no mistake, is insulin. Insulin is the hormone of storage. This hormone has kept us alive as a species throughout our time here on Earth. It is an extremely important hormone, make no mistake. But insulin is what helps us to survive by helping us to store food or store energy, for that matter, for times of famine and scarcity. The challenge now is that at least in the majority of the world, there isn't much famine and scarcity. So, even when I was a child, the term malnourishment was being used even when I was a child, but now it's more overnourishment in the developed world at least. And so the role of insulin now has become it's become aberrant. And unfortunately, as much as it used to help us back in the day when there was food insecurity, it is now becoming the reason why we gain weight. So insulin helps us to store energy, and essentially we store energy in the form of fat. So weight is a store of energy. That's what it is. When we put on fat is our store of energy. It's very similar to a camel's hump, essentially. The camels eat a lot of food, they drink a lot of water, their hump grow, and as they're crossing the desert now, that hump gets smaller and smaller and smaller. This is our hump here, essentially. So, an insulin is secreted in response to a couple of foods, which we will talk about here, make no mistake. Cortisol and adrenaline, I will put here, I will lump them together. These are or at least two of our stress hormones. These are the hormones we release in response to stress. And again, make no mistake, these hormones would have helped us survive as a species as we evolved in this planet. Think about, for instance, a time of great stress. Now, before I even jump into that analogy, what do cortisol and adrenaline do? Cortisol increases blood sugar, right, more than anything else, and it shuts down the immune system. Adrenaline, it does many things, but it increases heart rate, it increases blood pressure, it decreases gut blood flow, and it increases muscular blood flow. Right? And again, why? This cortisol increases blood sugar because for the majority of our time here on Earth, stress really came about as a result of somebody trying to kill us. A saber-tooth tiger trying to eat us, a fellow caveman trying to club us to death, that sort of thing. And so when we were stressed out, it really meant a threat to our life. So we had to fight or fly, run away. And that's where this response comes from, the fight or flight response. And so these two hormones helped us to do this. How? By increasing the blood sugar and decreasing all the blood flow to our gut and increasing the blood flow to our muscles. It made sure that our muscles had enough oxygen. It made sure the muscles had a ready supply of fuel, and it essentially made sure that the amount of blood coming to them was helpful. So it essentially primed us to fight for our life. But again, because of the increased blood sugar, and we're not actually fighting or flying for our life, but we're just sitting at our desk full of anxiety, for instance, or not sleeping very well, so we're very, very stressed out, but not being physically active, that increased blood sugar leads to an increase in insulin, more or less. And again, it goes back to insulin helping us to store energy. So imagine, for instance, there is, long ago, a saber-tooth tiger jumped out, started to chase us. These things kicked in, we ran away, and we were able to be safe. Whew. And so essentially, that increased blood sugar was burnt by the muscles that were primed. But now, in today's world, the saber-tooth tiger has been chasing us since 2020, since March 2020. And we're all extremely stressed out, we're not sleeping well, and all that good stuff. And as a result of that, we're all having high levels of cortisol and adrenaline in the blood. And also, just to put a little caveat here, guys, by shutting out, the reason why it shuts down the immune system is because the immune system takes up a lot of energy at a basal level. And so when you're fighting for your life, or you're running away for your life, you don't need to be fighting off an infection. So in times, like for instance in flu season or during the pandemic, when we were stressed out, make no mistake that it hampered our immune system ability to protect us as well. So these here are things that we can't really change directly. Right? I hope that makes sense. So things that we can't change directly, because I can't tell myself, decrease my insulin levels. I can't say that over and over and it works. But there are things that we can change. And as with all weight loss, actually, let me not say that, because there are a lot of people, there's a great misconception about weight loss. But things that essentially we do that put on weight: diet. If our diet is poor, we put on weight. If there is no exercise, if we don't sleep well, and if we live in a high stress environment at all times. So I'm going to give an entirely different lecture on ways in which this here, how we can modify these things to lose weight, right? But this lecture is based on why do we gain weight. And so if we have a bad diet, if we don't exercise, if we don't sleep well, and if we have high stress, through these mechanisms, we put on weight. And unfortunately, guys, long ago I used to say that there is no magic pill or no injection that can be taken to help us to magically lose weight. As of a couple of years ago, there is an injection that can be used. It begins with the letter O, but for many reasons I won't say it here. But I encourage patients not to go that route, because there have been many patients asking me if it's possible to get an injection here. So far as I know, it hasn't been cleared by our Food and Drug Association just yet. But I encourage patients, if you are interested in weight loss, please, please, please do the right thing, because if you've gained weight, it's as a result of a certain way of life. And it's not just about the aesthetics, it's about our cardiovascular health, our mental health. And in order to lose weight, we have to optimize all of those things. So we have a host of good ways, good other things that happen when we do the right thing to lose weight. So that will be my next lecture. So my hope is, in today's lecture, we understand why do we put on weight to begin with. So things that we can't change, things that we can't change directly. These are the things that make us put on weight. And these are the things that we can change, which I will talk about in the next lecture to come very soon. So I hope you guys understand what we talked about today. And if there's any questions or concerns, shoot me a message on the comment section. And if there's any requests for any topics that I should cover, let me know, and I'll try my best to do so. So hope you guys understand, and catch you guys in the next classroom. Take care.